Good morning, Pickles. I hope you are all well. It is day 3 of Vlogmas, otherwise known as the 2nd of December in this house and this part of the world, right here, right now. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's vlog. I was so delighted to spend a little bit of time over in Bath, enjoying yet more twinkly lights and general festive fare. But today is a little bit different. Today it's back down to earth with a bump, as I'm spending the day just catching up on a little bit of life admin, hopefully maybe actually getting some knitting done. I feel like that's probably something that needs to happen ahead of this week's podcast. But I wanted to catch up with you after yesterday, share a couple of the bits that I bought, and yeah, just give you a bit of a general yarny update on some of the advent calendars. Aren't they absolutely stunning? So between this amazing light grey from Nora George, which goes perfectly with her little black and white speckle from day one, which I'm very excited about, and then Cat Sandwich Fibres. I told you she was amazing with sock yarn, but yes, this little micro striping friend of mine, and it looks so beautiful next to day one as well. Yeah, they're so pretty together. Love those colours. Anyway, so those are my advent calendars for today. I also mentioned I would give you a little update on some of the purchases that I made yesterday, and a lot of them were gift purchases, and therefore I'm not going to show you those because, you know, secrets and all that, but I can show you a couple of bits that happened to jump into my basket for me. The first of those I kind of keep forgetting about. I had to do it. I figure if I'm going to be wandering around the house and not necessarily feeling particularly festive every single day, these are definitely going to help me with that. So yeah, my little sparkly reindeer antlers. And now I feel as though my bag for my Nora George advent calendar and I have a little affinity going on. But I have a slight obsession with all things stag and reindeer this time of year, as maybe about to come clear. So one of the fabulous things that I saw at the market yesterday were quite a few different stands and sellers, all of whom were selling hand felted ornaments. And I couldn't resist, and to that point, this guy, look at him. Isn't he a cutie? So this is my little reindeer ornament. He is going to go up on my tree this year, which I'm hopefully going to be getting later on this week. But yeah, I could not resist this guy. Hopefully in yesterday's vlog you may have seen a few of the other of his friends on one of the stands, and not giving anything away, but there might be a couple of gift purchases that I made on this stand. So yes, love him. And then at the same time, what I didn't notice is that on the other side of the stand they had truly teeny tiny versions of all these. So my mum bought me this guy. He's so tiny. Look at him. And he's got his little cozy scarf to keep him warm. I cannot even deal with this guy. Look at him though. Look at him. So yes, he is going to be joining his friend on my tree at some point. And then the last of these that I had to get was actually not in that stand at all. It was a totally different shop. There was one shop that we wandered into on the way up to a yarn story on Walcott Street, which hopefully you saw a little bit of that street and it just piqued your interest, because it is such a pretty street of independent shops. It's a brilliant part of the city. I mean, all of the city is beautiful, but that street in particular has my heart. And on the way up there, there was a sort of general homewares and gift shop that was particularly decked out for Christmas, and they too had a few felted ornaments, and one of those that I saw there was, look at her, a little fairy mouse. With her little wings. I mean, I can't even deal. I could not even handle her cuteness. So yes, this was from a shop. It was Gisela Graham. on the shop on the way up. I'm pretty sure they've got a few different stores. They did have a few signs advertising delivery within the M25, which generally suggests there is at least one store in London, but yeah, I couldn't. She's just too cute for words. Also on Walcott Street, and just a couple of doors down from A Yarn Story, is a fabulous shop called Meticulous Ink. They happen to sell all sorts of amazing goods and wares for people who are very into letterpress and into calligraphy, so pens and inks. Now, my handwriting is not the greatest, and I would love to be better at calligraphy. It's something that I'd love to do a course in, but just going in there allowed me to experience all of just the amazingness of it all vicariously, as I am wont to do. I might have picked up a couple of bits and pieces there, but one thing I did want to show you is just when a company creates cards, the like of which, you know, if you're buying something, they'll give you a card, or if you want to pick a card up so they can remember, you can remember them. When they put this much attention into that card, you know it's a fairly exceptional company. So this is their card. As I mentioned, Meticulous Ink. This is all letterpress, so it's actually embossed. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but the cardstock it's on is ridiculously thick and wonderful. Yeah, as I say, when you put this much effort into something that is going away in customers' bags as a bit of a giveaway, you know you're working with a fairly incredible business. So yes, managed to pick up a couple of bits in there as well. But Caroline, I hear you cry. You went into a yarn store. We saw you go into a yarn store. You went in and squished some yarn. We saw it happen. We have the footage as evidence. You must have bought something. I mean, I'd hate to disappoint you. I might have picked up a couple of skeins. So as you may have seen if you follow along on our Ravelry thread, we have a December Vicarious Knits thread, which I opened up at the start of this month, and this is just a thread for you to go in and to share all of the patterns, all of the things that you're kind of lusting over but aren't necessarily planning to cast on right away. And if you've been in there, you may have spotted I'm on a bit of a colourwork hat trend at the moment, and so when I went in and squished some colours when I was in A Yarn Story, which is the most beautiful shop, I have to say that up front. The thing that kept coming into my mind were possible colourwork hat combinations, and so I bought a couple of pairs of yarns that I think could look really, really nicely worked up together. The first of those is a pair of yarns from House of a la Mode, and I mean, these are just beautiful. I will talk about them a little bit more over on the podcast this week, but just for a little cheeky sneak peek, I thought I would show you these two together. So those were the first two skeins, and then I was going to leave it at that. But then I remembered that A Yarn Story is one of the stores in the UK that carries La Bien-Aimée, and I have never had any. No, I tell a complete and utter lie. I've had one skein. I bought it from A Yarn Story at a Yarnporium event many years ago, but yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. My whole justification for this purchase is gone now. Oops. Never mind. Selective memory loss. What can I say? But having thought that I never actually owned any La Bien-Aimée, amazing, I decided that I would treat myself to a couple of skeins of their yarn. And again, these two just look so beautiful together. And so while that's not all my purchases from yesterday, it's all the ones that I'm going to show you right now. Yes, I'll probably include a few more clips of me pottering around over the course of today, but for the most part it's going to be a slow and a lazy one. And so I hope you have a wonderful rest of day. I hope your knitting is keeping you happy and fulfilled, and if for whatever reason you're just not quite yet into the festive spirit, I hope that you've been able to Vlogmas vicariously. Keep on keeping on, and I will speak. Oops! So I've talked at length so far in Vlogmas about how I have these two beautiful advent calendars and how I'm really enjoying opening them. I've mentioned also that I had an advent calendar from Nora George last year, and I enjoyed crocheting up all of those minis into my blanket. What I forgot is that last year I also bought an advent calendar from a homespun house. Now, we had a bit of trouble with this, so I moved last autumn, so not this year just gone, but last year, after I bought the advent calendar, and my address didn't make it to a homespun house to Molly in time for her to send out the advent to my new address. It went to my old address, it went round the houses, it eventually went back to Germany, and I finally took receipt of this advent calendar in February earlier this year. Now, in February earlier this year, I was in the midst of going through my divorce. I was trying to get ready to pack up and move house again and set out on my own, and so my mind was a little bit all over the place when it arrived, which might explain why I forgot about it almost entirely until now. So I have an advent calendar from last year. Now I have got in and I've peeked in all of the little different envelopes to check and see what colours I have, because I am human, but it does mean that I haven't actually worked with that advent calendar, so I might as well show you it here. So it's a little bit late, but I have a little bit of catching up to do with my homespun house advent calendar from 2017. Now, when the advent calendar arrived, it was packaged in a shipping box, much like my cat sandwich fibres one. However, I found that Nora George's, so Tracy's box from last year, was the sturdiest place to keep them, so it is in my Nora George yarns box from last year, but it is my homespun house advent calendar. So yes, I guess we should catch up. So here are all my little sweet packages sitting inside, and from the smell, I would say that there are perhaps maybe a couple of teas in here somewhere. It smells very lovely and festive, but yeah, I did put them all in order, but I haven't looked at these in about 9 months. So heaven, I will be as just clueless as you are as to what is in each little envelope, so we'll see as we go. So going forward, I will open these at the same time as I do my other two, but just for today, because in the spirit of Vlogmas, it's about keeping it real. Here we go. Isn't that so pretty? And then look at the little stitch progress keeper on the end, stitch marker progress keeper. There we go. Isn't it cute? Just on a little stitch marker earring clasp. Love it. So that is day one. It's just so pretty. So back to me. So there we go. I will, as I say, be including these in the daily advent calendar opening as I go forward, but I just felt it probably made sense to catch up. So yeah, sorry about that. I can't believe I forgot. It's ridiculous. I am running out of space on this table to be able to feature all three of them, but I'll make it work. It'll be fine. But yeah, I'm contemplating, because I do like to observe the proper order of things, I'm contemplating using the Homespun House minis as I go along to go into my crochet blanket first, and then considering maybe using one of the ones from this year. We'll see how we go, but yeah. I can't believe I forgot it. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day.